What is going on, trainers? Drumvillain here. I know it's been a little while since my last upload, but we're finally back. I was away for a little over a week over in Northern Ireland, and then I did attend the Safari Zone Liverpool after getting the ferry back over to England from Northern Ireland, and we're starting a new job as well recently. I've still been settling into that, so it's taken up quite a lot of my time, and I'm happy to jump back into making some content for you guys. Now, I do have a set of battles that I want to share with you guys with a team that I think has a lot of play in the Halloween Cup that I'm going to do more with in the future. But first, I wanted to share with you some hatches, some catches, and a very special trade that I managed to get at the Safari Zone Liverpool. So shout out to anyone that did attend the Safari Zone Liverpool in person. It's always great to meet people that have a passion for Pokemon Go like we do. And if you played from home, I hope you had good luck on your incense and with those wild spawns and research tasks and eggs. I hope you got something that you were looking for. Now, I didn't actually need any shiny Pokemon from this event. I've already completed all the shiny families of the Pokemon that were featured and available in the event, even with the release of Tympole, since I already have that family completed. So my main focus on the day was actually picking up some horses and some Poliwags, so I can get XL candy towards building those for Ultra League, since I haven't built those Pokemon in XL variants for the Ultra League yet. But I was lucky enough to get a shiny Giratina on the morning before the event actually started. I was lucky enough to hatch a shiny Alolan Grimer, as well as a shiny Azurill, but we didn't actually get footage of that egg hatching. It was quite a busy day, and there certainly wasn't time and battery life to be screen recording everything that happened through the day. We also got a 98% IV shiny Dwebble, which is really nice. I've got a lot of 98% shiny Pokemon, but speaking of almost 100% shiny Pokemon, we managed to trade for something very, very special. And that was, we ran into a friend from our hometown back in Barnsley in England, and we were already lucky friends, so we decided to roll a shiny Giratina Altered, and I was blessed to get my first ever Shundo. I have over 1700 shinies on my account. I've never had a Shundo Pokemon before. I have lucky rolled a lot of shiny legendaries to try and get one, and I'm just super chuffed with that. So of course we had to max it out at least to level 40. We're still working on the XL candies, and I'm probably going to grind them out just because it's special to have a Shundo Pokemon, and I do really want to max this out completely. With all my gushing about the Giratina out of the way, let's jump into some battles. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, it really helps me out if you're enjoying the content. And the first matchup we have is an Azumarill lead. Now, depending how this team performs, I'm probably going to make more content featuring it and get more robust matchups and showcase the team better for you guys. But the only thing you need to know really is that it's a Crustle lead, Shadow Golbat and Jellicent in the back, which means Azumarill's a pretty bad lead. Both Golbat and Jellicent do better against Azumarill than Crustle does. This Azumarill happens to stay in and throw an Ice Beam before swapping out to a Wormadam, and Wormadam actually absolutely smashes Golbat to pieces, so this is absolutely abysmal for us. We're going to throw the Shadow Ball nuke. It does not do enough to KO Wormadam. Wormadam is quite tanky and can take a Shadow Ball from Shadow Golbat, so they don't have to shield. And we decide the better option here is to bring in Jellicent because it resists all the charge moves and we're already down a shield, and then farm down completely, get a bunch of energy to threaten this Azumarill, and maybe they don't have something to hard counter this energy. So we're going to see what they decide to do, see what they decide to bring in, and the Azumarill does come back in. So this is looking pretty good because the Golbat did put a nice bit of work in on this Azumarill, so this Shadow Ball will get them pretty low, and we're very, very close to a second one. So we're going to build up a little bit more energy, and we're going to throw at the same time we think they should have gotten to a play rough if they had it, but the Azumarill doesn't actually throw at that time, so they get a bubble through, which isn't brilliant for us. And at this point we decide we're going to swap out to Crustle and preserve the Jellicent, because if they're staying in, maybe they're weak to Jellicent in the back as well. Now this Azumarill is going to dump all its energy into Crustle, and because they're staying with Azumarill, we get a little psyched out and decide that it's worth shielding the Crustle. They've actually got a Shadow Scizor in the back, and that's why they brought Azumarill into Jellicent. Shadow Scizor very much struggles with Jellicent, and now we're going to bring in Jellicent, throw the Bubble Beam straight away, because if they get to a Night Slash, it will do big damage even though we're resisting all the other moves from Scizor, and this means we should be okay. The Azumarill's energy dry, it's dumped all its energy. We can just get to a Bubble Beam, and this will probably be enough to take them out. Yeah, it's enough, so we're going to take that win. GG. So Wormadam was actually probably that team's best answer to a Jellicent, which Golbat was able to bait out, and then Jellicent was able to sweep in the end. And I do think Golbat and Jellicent make a strong pair in the back for that reason, and Crustle is a very strong lead in this meta, beating out a lot of Pokemon. Here we can see Beedrill, and that's a fantastic lead for Crustle. There aren't many Pokemon in the Halloween Cup meta that actually resist Rock-type damage, so Smackdown is a very consistent move. In this meta, they swap out to their own Crustle, and we can do massive damage. They're hitting us for super effective, we're hitting them for super effective, and we actually make the slight mistake of swapping out to Jellicent to just get that last hit on their Crustle to finish them off. But also, their Crustle was going to get to a move. I think they actually didn't throw a move at the Jellicent, but we didn't want to have to shield our Crustle, and we wanted to see what we could pull out with the Jellicent, and it turned out we pulled out a Mandibuzz, and now we're locked in against it, which is very, very unfortunate. Mandibuzz does very well against Jellicent if the Jellicent isn't running Ice Beam. If the Jellicent is running Ice Beam, then the Mandibuzz still wins pretty comfortably, but the Jellicent can threaten with some pretty serious damage. But this means they've got Mandibuzz, they've got Beedrill, which means Crustle has a lot of play. That Smackdown's hitting for super effective against both Pokemon that they've got left. We're actually going to let this go at this point, and this could be a mistake, but we're pretty comfortable that Jellicent can finish off this Beedrill, absorb this energy, and then ideally Golbat can finish off the Mandibuzz. Now, Golbat does have to go for Poison Fangs against Mandibuzz, but the Mandibuzz is already pretty low, so they've got a shield, yeah, but they're kind of pressured to use it anyway, because this is going to do a reasonable little chunk, and then the wing attacks are going to start adding up. Since they don't shield it, we're actually fine to just completely farm down this Mandibuzz. We don't have to shield this move. Golbat can survive a charge move from Mandibuzz, Shadow or not. The opponent realizes that they're kind of stuck in that position and they're going to surrender, and that's a good game. The main gist of this team is that all Pokemon on it are quite consistent in their damage output. The Pokemon that's most likely to get walled on this team is actually Jellicent. Because you're running Bubble Beam and Shadow Ball, it's likely to get shut down by Dark types. It's going to struggle to put out a lot of damage unless it's something that happens to be weak to Bubble Beam. And this is another example, an opponent that's weak to the Crustle lead, and they swap to their own Crustle in the back. And this means now we can just bring in our Jellicent, farm them down. We know they have a Golbat on lead, which isn't super threatening to Jellicent. Jellicent can go toe-to-toe with it, and we can threaten with an Ice Beam since we haven't thrown a charge move, so we're probably going to get a shield out of them, maybe. But we're still not bothered about baiting. We don't want to fail a Bubble Beam bait. We want to get damage or we want to get shields. And we weren't actually sure if they would shield just because they'd lost switch advantage, and that means that this Golbat is probably stuck against the Crustle anyway, so they might not be inclined to shield it and conserve it, and they might want to save both shields for the Pokemon in the back, hoping that it can sweep. So we actually get 2 shields out of them with Shadow Balls, which is really surprising. We're not going to shield the Jellicent because we've got Crustle to annihilate this Golbat, and they actually swap out into an Azumarill in the back, and down 2 shields, Azumarill has no chance against Golbat. Doesn't matter if it's got Ice Beam, doesn't matter what moveset it's running. This first one's going to hit for a very sizable chunk, considering that that's an Azumarill, and Azumarill can tank a lot of moves. That hits for a nice chunk for how spammy it is. This second Poison Fang will probably almost take out the Azumarill. We know we've got some time before they get to a charge move. We actually get, I don't know if that was on purpose. I think we might be just overcharging on energy because Azumarill gets to moves quite slowly relative to Golbat, and we want to get to a Shadow Ball to absolutely wipe out their Golbat. We don't want to get farmed down, give their Golbat a chance to get to a large, high damage move that's going to just wipe out the Crustle. The Shadow Ball hits like an absolute truck. We swap into Crustle, snipe them down, and that's going to give us the win. GG. Now let's take a look at a matchup where we actually lose the lead and we almost spinning around, and then we actually make a really bad mistake that ends up costing us really heavily. And that is in this matchup against a Toxicroak lead. Now Toxicroak lead is abysmal for Crustle. Toxicroak absolutely smashes Crustle to pieces. Crustle doesn't have any moves that threaten Toxicroak. Toxicroak resists everything. So we're going to go into our save swap, and that's Golbat. I think Golbat's quite an effective save swap. The wing attack damage combined with the Poison Fang debuffs and the potential for Shadow Ball nukes gives it quite versatile coverage. It means it can do well against most things in the meta, and at absolute minimum it's got nice resistances against other poison type damage, against any fairy damage and things like that. And we're actually met with a Mandibuzz, and because they've let a couple of Poison Fangs through, we can actually control switch advantage here, which is super crucial because Crustle can't do anything to Toxicroak. I mean, Toxicroak's squishy, but it's going to lose that matchup. So it's worth us double shielding this, building up some energy, farming down this Mandibuzz at this point, and we can probably get that shield back. If the Toxicroak comes in, we can throw a Shadow Ball and it will do big damage if they don't shield it, and gives us a potential win condition. The Toxicroak does come back in. We're going straight for the Shadow Ball, give us big damage or give us that last shield. We don't get the shield, we wipe them out with one shot, and we default to swapping out to Jellicent, thinking, oh, we can debuff whatever comes in, you know, it's the last Pokemon. It made sense as a play, but we were not expecting a Shadow Victreebel, and swapping into Jellicent cost us so badly in this game because it means that the Victreebel can farm up a lot of energy, allowing it to take out the Crustle with a Leaf Blade, which stops us getting to an X-Scissor, which would have been enough to take out this Victreebel, and they're going to take the win. They're going to farm down the entire team with that Shadow Razor Leaf damage, and that's going to be a good game. So that was our mistake. If we'd have swapped straight into Crustle, we'd have been completely fine in that game, but swapping to Jellicent cost us heavily. Another Beedrill lead on the last battle of the set, and this opponent swaps out into a Zweilous, and Zweilous it's a pretty interesting pick in this meta. Again, if you get it locked against a fairy, it's going to absolutely disintegrate. So I don't know if it's the best safe swap. You're kind of gambling that your opponent doesn't have a Zoomerl or Wigglytuff or any other fairy lurking, but if they don't have a fairy, Zweilous has very good coverage and damage output against everything else. And since we don't actually have a fairy on our team, we're going to swap into Jellicent, and we expected to get a shield there, like threatening an Ice Beam, but we don't. They actually call the Ice Beam bait, which is very, very bad for us. Really, we weren't really sure what to do against a Zweilous safe swap, but we're happy in the position we're in. The Shadow Ball's enough to take them out at this point because Zweilous is pretty glassy and Shadow Ball hits so hard. Now the opponent brings in an Obstagoon, so we're actually happy we brought in Jellicent here because Jellicent has very little play against Obstagoon, especially since we don't have Ice Beam. This means we can lock down the Obstagoon with the Golbat and then keep Crustle locked onto the Beedrill. So this is a very strong position to be in this game. We don't have to worry about shielding a Night Slash, at least not unless they boost, which they don't, which is pretty lucky for us. I mean, the Night Slash boost is pretty unlikely to happen, but you know how it is. The second you're in a strong position, poised to win, the opponent pulls that cheeky boost. So we're out of shields at this point. So talking about choosing not to shield, it's not like we had a choice. So it was kind of lucky that they didn't actually proc a boost because they would have been able to take us out and we'd have been looking pretty bad in the end game. So the opponent's going to come in now with the Beedrill. That's all they've got left. We're hoping to get to this Poison Fang, and we do. Lower the defense and then swap into Crustle, and then this smackdown damage is going to hit like an absolute truck. Look at that, smashing Beedrill to pieces. And I don't think this is a draw run, but maybe it is. It is. It's going to almost take us out. And even if the Beedrill would have farmed us down there first, I think the Golbat's wing attacks would have taken out Beedrill before we actually got taken out there. So good game. So there you have it, guys, able to take a 4-1 with this team. If you're looking for something to try in Halloween Cup, I do recommend this team. Let me know if you like the team, you like the video, and I'm going to leave you guys with some footage from the Safari Zone if you're curious what that looked like. I didn't spend very long with my camera out. I was mainly focused on playing the game for the day, but that's where I'm going to leave this video. If you've watched this far, thank you so much. If you're already subscribed to the channel, you're an absolute legend, and I'll catch you guys next time.